welcome to Off Track. The journey starts here. So for those of you who are regular listeners to the rundown, this is our little trail spin-off that we've concocted. And yeah, it's going to be hosted by me, Andy, and my good friend here, Logan.
And if you do hear this episode, it means it went well. Otherwise, if you never hear it, it's episode 0.
Yeah, so this is dubbed episode 0. It can be reasonably bad and it'll go to air, but if it's really, really bad, we'll start again in 2 weeks' time. But hopefully it's good enough because we have some cool stuff to talk about this week, so we'll see where we end up. Yeah, man, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? I shall do the same, and then obviously we want to be just giving people a bit of just some expectations as to what's different about this pod and what they're going to be hearing when they tune in.
Yeah, I guess start off with who I am. I'm Logan. Kind of do a bit of running. I guess this is all about trail running. So how did I get into trail running? I grew up in Auckland, raced road bikes up there for a good 10 years of my life, overseas and whatnot as well. Honestly, actively avoided running for a solid 10 years, which I was thinking about this morning. So I'd say from the ages of 17, maybe 16 to 26, refused to run because I was just riding bikes 20 hours a week. And then kind of got into running in 2020 actually as a bit of a bet with a mate. We're both he would sort of just finished up racing bikes. I couldn't go overseas to race bikes in 2020, so we were both going to do Hawke's Bay Marathon, and then that obviously got postponed and cancelled and yada yada yada, and I just kind of kept running and kept going for it, and then actually had a bit of a bad crash on my bike later that year, rattled my brain around a little bit, and then sort of never really went back to racing road bikes. So just got into running. Ended up being a founding member of Whippets Running Project up in Auckland, and just started kind of pouring the energy that I had for cycling into running. And then thing that leads to trail is I'd always been into a bit of mountain biking and stuff, and I think I really enjoyed trail running from that. And I think athletically the crossover from road cycling to trail running was a lot simpler because it's just much more of a fitness test, less about running economy and speed, which I have very little of. And then for the past it's come up on 6 years now, kind of running and trail running's been sort of my main jam. Injured myself a few times along the way.
You've done pretty bloody well though. You kind of haven't actually alluded to the fact that you're the current New Zealand short trail champion, so I think you need to slip that in there.
Well, we'll get there chronologically. So I guess had a little bit of success between getting a few injuries and whatnot. And then moved down here to Christchurch just over 18 months ago. Got engaged, bought a house, got a dog, and now living down here, road running, trail running. And I guess we'll talk a little bit more what our specific training's like at the moment. But that's kind of me. Travel a lot for work, enjoy the time I've got here, and then kind of exploring the world and going running. And I guess the other thing as well, explaining our sort of relationship here. Andy is my coach as well, so we'll pick up on that dynamic and me getting told off for not doing what I want. And then and I guess I don't know, the last sort of year or so I've been really into the different trail races we've got here in New Zealand, and then also trying to race overseas a bit more, and that was kind of the impetus for this, try to highlight a bit more what racing we've got going on here in New Zealand, and then kind of how us Kiwis who want to race trails get on overseas. That's me.
Awesome, man. No, that's a great intro, and we're stoked to have you here as well. It's a pretty cool place. I'm super biased. I've trained up and down New Zealand, just through different careers that have I guess I've had over the last 10 or so years, but I love Christchurch. I think we have so much to offer, just in terms of variability with our terrain. So
when people ask me what do you like about living in Christchurch compared to Auckland, I'm like, well, I can go trail running from my house, and I can also walk into the central city to a stadium, and I can also go mountain biking from home. It's not a bad gig.
No, it's crazy. I think if we had the altitude factor here, this would be a world training mecca. But I think lots of people probably say that about their hometown, and they just love where they're from and where they grew up.
Who are you?
So I'm Andy, and I grew up here in Christchurch. As I said, lived in the North Island for a little bit, and that was cool because it gave me a good opportunity to explore the trails up there. And funnily enough, that was actually where I did start trail running. So I was in the military for just shy of 10 years, and that meant I spent a lot of time in Palmerston North of all places, but actually had a cool little trail network. Like I do miss those trails. They were actually really, really neat. And got into the trail scene. I remember at the time I was following this guy named Ethan Newberry, who his handle was the Ginger Runner, and at the time no one was really doing what he was doing. Like this is 2014-ish, I guess. And yeah, he just had these really cool inspirational videos about, you know, kind of running 50k trail races and 100k trail races, and I kind of just caught the bug. I was already running, but yeah, just the concept of moving fast through, you know, like the Great Walks and other like long distance trails, it just massively appealed to me. And I think combined with, you know, managing yourself well for like, you know, extended periods of time and having to, it's not just about the training, it was also about the gear, and yeah, it all just kind of made sense to me. So you can kind of probably tell that trails where the passion is. Have done a lot of road racing as well over the years, but yeah, it started on the trail, and then, you know, if we circle back, have done a bit of road racing in the last few years, but ultimately all of my goals, at least in the next 6 to 12 months, really do lie on the trail. So yeah, love talking about it. Obviously we get out for some cool runs and talk trail. I work as a coach as well, based in the Frontrunner, which is cool, awesome little community there. And yeah, I'd say about half of the crew that I'm coaching are trail runners. So yeah, it's a really nice varied mix. Yeah. I don't know, I don't really want to go too deep into what I've done.
Andy's quite an accomplished trail runner. You've represented New Zealand at Worlds, won a few national championships as well.
A couple of New Zealand mountain running titles. So that's traditionally a much shorter race, sort of 10 to 15k distance, short, sharp, pretty hard on the body. Yeah, so have done pretty well there, and then also, yeah, just in some other trail races, but most of my success on the trail lies in races 30-ish k and under, and where I sort of see myself going now is starting to take a step into the ultra distance realm, which is quite exciting because it just goes to show you can be doing this for a while, but you know, there's always other things to tick off if you're motivated, and I've always kind of felt that this would be where I'd end up going. So yeah, it's cool. A bit of uncharted territory.
And I guess as well, like a kind of theme you'll probably hear over the next year or so is like both of us are pretty keen to represent New Zealand at Trail Running World Champs over in South Africa, December 2027, which seems like a long time away, but like realistically, like the kind of qualifying period for that actually opened earlier this year before Short Trail Nationals, and I guess will be a theme that we go through as well. Both like kind of talking about our own journey of like how we get there, the races that we're going to target, but then also really just trying to highlight some other athletes that we know that are trying to qualify for that, and kind of how that whole story plays out, and yeah, trying to throw a bit of light to some Kiwi races.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like what this will ultimately or hopefully do as well is show some people the pathway, because it can be a little bit unknown. Like this is an accessible achievement, and if people have the skills and the drive and the determination, there's no reason why they can't do it. So it's like this is our pathway for how we're going to ultimately try and make this team, and whether we do or we don't, I mean, you know, to some extent it will be uncontrollable, but we'll put our best foot forward. But yeah, I think it's quite cool to be able to sort of show people, like, if you want to go about doing this is a way to do it. Because at the end of the day, we want the best possible team going over there to South Africa to compete. And, you know, truthfully, if I were to not make the team and the level were as such that it was really high, I would be stoked, because it's so good for New Zealand trail running overall. So, yeah.
That pretty much sums it up. I guess as well, like we don't want to bore people to death with like a weekly training rundown from each of us or anything like that. There are too many podcasts out there doing that. But I guess we kind of decided we'll just sort of sum up our training in sort of like one question, and it's like, have you actually been off track this week?
Yeah. So that question you know, there's a bit of an off, I guess, an in-house joke there, like, because at the end of the day, you know, we are super passionate about trail running, but we do a lot of running on the road, and I think a lot of it's just to do with the season right now, but also just time efficiency, right? Like, you know, especially if you live in a big city. I know you did say you can run to the trails from home, but it's not always that easy, right?
Yeah, and I guess like I guess Christchurch in general, like you can get the trails from home, but like the trails are quite hilly as well, so it's quite difficult to go for an easy run. But anyway, you have to ask the question: Have you actually been off track?
I've been off 2 weeks. Okay, stop yelling at me. I've been off track twice in the last week. We'll just go back as far as 7 days, so I'm doing okay actually. I had a nice trail run last Thursday with Tim Jorgensen, which was cool. And he's also vying for a spot in that trail team, so that was really cool.
Absolute mileage merchant.
Oh yeah, he's training very well. I'm quite excited about where he's going, and also a bit of trail time on Sunday. So, and then this coming week will hopefully be at least 3 off-track editions. So, yeah, I think I'm doing okay. What about you?
Unless you count the gravel on the side of the road at the Heathcote River as trail, then I got nothing. So I guess a little bit about my training as well. I'm currently sort of on my way back from a stress fracture in my femur, which I got after national champs earlier this year. So my running now is getting to a reasonable place, but has been pretty dull over the last sort of 10 weeks that I've been back running maybe, but so hopefully I will be able to share a few more exciting runs going up. But I think gotta catch up with the physio again later this week, and hopefully that should ease the shackles a little bit and start getting into things that represent training, not just running.
You're close, right? Like we can see that you're close, and you know, like I think everyone will appreciate your honesty. It's I don't know, sometimes seen as a bit taboo. Like it's the scariest injury, especially for me as a coach. Like I sadly have seen a few stress fractures over the years, and been doing this for a while now, I should say. Like they're not all recent ones, but can be really hard to pick up as well. Some people have an incredibly high pain tolerance and threshold, and I myself have had stress injury myself, and truthfully didn't really know that it was occurring until it was at its worst. So. It's a tough one, and as I say, it's cool for you to just keep it real, and I think people will enjoy hearing, you know, just how you progress with it over the next couple of months. And it's kind of cool because right now we're probably in very different places. Like I'm actually feeling quite sharp and fit, but you know, we have 6 odd months, and who knows where we'll both be in 6 months. You know, like I'm probably too fit too early. You're on the up.
I will call it on the up. I think that's one thing I'm really looking forward to, is actually getting out for some trail running. It is kind of the weird part of that, like return to run program as well. Is even if you are like a trail runner, like return to run does look like a lot of very boring, consistent running, because you're just like reloading tendons and bones in a controlled manner, and running in trails, particularly around where we live, isn't the best for that. But anyway, I guess that's almost like a big motivation for me to get back running, is just to get out there and enjoy it a bit more. Like I had an awesome summer last summer of experiencing a lot of the trail running down here for the first time, but get out there again soon.
I think for you as well, you're fortunate that you have this huge background in cycling, and you've been able to really repurpose yourself, and you've still done some really cool missions, and you know, I think that I don't know, it just keeps you hungry, and also it just, you know, keeps the headspace in a good place whilst you're on the rehab.
Yeah, and then you ride a bike a few times and realise how easy it is to get fitter again. You're like, why am I still running? But anyway, I'll keep those questions to myself. I don't know why I do this. I guess that's a bit of us. We're training, as Andy said, his training's going real well. He's super fit. So I guess, and then the kind of short term, and we're going to talk about this kind of long term plan with races and stuff, but to kind of set the scene, you've got a few races locked in on the schedule coming up that we'll be kind of focusing on. Yeah,
I guess I got the ones that are near on the calendar, so going to be running the 50k at Tekapo, which is in September, so really looking forward to that, and that'll be my first ultra. I was actually I wish I actually looked this up properly, but I feel as if I haven't run an ultra since Ollie's been here, so he's just about to turn 3. So for me, the expectations around Tekapo to just try and put a solid performance together, and obviously it's a good chance to just practice some processes that I haven't really done like for that kind of duration, you know, like we can get close in training, but there's just nothing like a race to like really learn a few things, right? So yeah, Tekapo's up next for me, and then have a nice little recovery window to work with, and then also we'll be running Kepler in December, which I'm super excited about. Like for me personally, I don't know, I'm a bit biased, but like I've always sort of viewed Kepler as the unofficial New Zealand Trail Champs. Like I look at whoever wins Kepler, you know, on both sides, you know, they're like the top dogs, and you know, actually if you actually look at that over the last 5 years, the people who have won it kind of are the top dogs. So I know there's some bigger races out there like Tarawera, and I think, you know, Kepler has its limitations in the fact that only so many people can enter, but yeah, I think like it's always competitive, and that's what's super appealing to me.
Yeah, no, you make a really good point. I think what Andy says there about process and stuff as well, I think we'll unpack when we get close to some races, but there's a real gear nerd hiding inside Andy's head there as well. So we will see what comes out of that, because I think that military background and being prepared, this man weighs his, you know, cuts his toothbrush in half and weighs it, and is going to the kids section to buy his gloves because they're 5 grams lighter and stuff like that.
That's a trade secret. Don't be telling things. Don't tell people these things.
But yeah, so we'll get into a bit of like gear chat and stuff as well. But yeah, I guess I mean Kepler is awesome. I had an amazing opportunity to be able to run it last year. I'd say run it, not race it, but it's pretty cool, like pretty amazing part of the world. And yeah, as a race I'd love to do. I guess myself, like kind of nothing on the radar, but I do have an entry to Luxmore, like the short grunt, Luxmore grunt, up and down at Kepler.
Yep.
So pretty keen to give that a go. Again, it's kind of reasonably soon, so I don't think it's a go and smash it absolutely full gas, but I think that'll be a pretty cool return to racing. And then yeah, I guess kind of eyes on short trail nationals in February next year, which we'll talk about in a second, because that's come up a little bit quicker than we thought, because it's come up earlier.
I mean, we could go there now. We're kind of flowing into it nicely. So yeah, short trail champs were originally meant to be attached to Tussock Traverse, which was scheduled to be in March of next year. Quite a nice date, truthfully, within the calendar, but yeah, from what we hear and understand, the whole race itself is
taking a break.
It's taking a break, yeah. I don't know what to make of that.
I've had an ex-girlfriend once who said we should take a break. I've never seen her again, so I think it might be something like that.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, cool. I'm glad it didn't end there. Yeah, because just like your ex-girlfriend, they might have just taken all my money and never come back.
Yeah.
Anyway, the race has been repurposed, which is cool. Like they've already let us know what it's going to be now. A little bit earlier on the calendar, and I must admit I was a little bit bummed because it now falls on the same day as Old Ghost Road.
Ooh,
so
that one.
Yeah, there's a few clashes, but again, like we want people to go to nationals, so you must know this. 27th of February, next year. And it's attached to the Xterra Trail Festival, which is in Wellington. So it's going to be the 42k race there. So, yeah.
I think it's actually better. Like it was the race at Tussock was only 30 something k as well.
Yeah.
Which I don't think really prepares you for a 50 to 60k race.
I don't know heaps at this stage about what like the trails around Table Mountain are going to be like, but I dare say Tussock Traverse wasn't great prep or a good like gauge. So. Yeah, I think this one's going to be better, even just like if we look purely at time on the feet, it's going to be more relevant, and the people who do well there should be at least, you know, like well set up to do as best as they can in South Africa World Champ. So yeah, exciting. I mean, to be honest as well, I'm kind of stoked because like life's busy and flying to Wellington is a hell of a lot easier than, I don't know, we were talking about maybe going to Rotorua, getting a car, like road tripping over. I mean, it was going to be a little bit of a bros weekend, which would have been cool, but yeah, a lot easier to just fly in and out of Welly.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be a real cool race. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have a quick look at it, like from like previous results. David, you pronounce his surname Hounschmidt.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Who's got the course record at most races around the country.
And he is no slouch. That man can run. He's good.
He's ran 3 hours 20 on it. It's kind of like you actually went to look at the profile together. You described it well. It's kind of like a mini version of Kepler.
Yeah, scale down.
You kind of like start off a little bit of flat, and then you kind of work your way sort of up over 3 climbs that kind of like back to back to back up to about 570 meters, so like half the height of Kepler.
Yeah.
And then you come back down again and then run like a kind of reasonably flat last 15k. So yeah, I think it'll be a really cool race. And yeah, I don't know, like my just hope is that everyone like kind of turns up to race it. I think in the trail racing space in New Zealand, we had kind of like a reasonably cool innovation last year with like the Kia series, really like trying to get like the best people into the same races. And I was thinking about this the other day. I listened to an interview with Jakob Ingebrigtsen recently. He was mainly just slinging shit at Josh Kerr, saying that like we need the best racers to turn up at championships, and like if people are looking for good races that other like people of a similar or high level are going to be at, like the championships is you're told where they are 6 months, a year in advance. Like get to these races. So yeah, I think we've talked about like New Zealand trail racing a lot over the past 6 months or so, and yeah, there's like so many good people out there that are like running really well, but it just seems to be like quite diluted. But I just really hope we can kind of convince everyone to turn up at these big races together. And I don't know what the kind of
I'm hoping that they make it super accessible from like a even just an entry fee standpoint. That can be somewhat limiting for some, and also like numbers can't be a factor. Like I guess if it is attached to if I go back to Kepler, right, like they'll limit it to 400, I believe. So it can't be a national champs if everyone can't be there. And I think that's a cool thing that obviously this one's got going for it. Yeah, it would be cool to actually have a chat, and we will reach out to a couple of locals to give us a bit more info on that course, because we're just interpreting at this point an elevation profile, but for all we know it could be really niggly and we're not too sure. So yeah, we'll talk a lot more about that over the coming weeks and episodes if we make it past episode 0.
Okay, we should probably move on actually talk about ourselves. This seems quite self-centered for a while, but I guess like many other things, we do want to also like shine a bit of light on some like other races that are happening around New Zealand, like mainly trail focused, and then a little bit overseas. Yes. I will say pretty much all our race results are going to be directly ripped off Trail Running NZ's email blog. Mm-hmm. So we actually reached out to Bradley. So yeah, awesome dude, doing a really cool thing. Like weekly newsletter arrives in your inbox usually on a Monday morning, with like results, what's coming up, and just like a really cool analysis of like all like the grassroots trail races. So shout out to Bradley. We'll definitely be trolling through that every Monday morning and kind of bringing out a few highlights.
And he puts a great spin on it. Like he's a really funny guy, and I really encourage you to check it out. Trail Running NZ. We can pop the link to that in the show notes. So yeah, I foresee that at some point he will be sitting here next to us and having a chat.
Yep. I guess last couple of weeks race have been on Muka Muka Munter. Now I'd never heard of this race before, but you know what it is, so tell us about it in Wellington.
I just think like it's a real die-hard trail race for the Wellington locals. They just love it. Like I think the entries might be like around the 100 number, but they all know what it is. They all get around it, and it's just a really cool race. It looks like a real true trail race. It's niggly and techy, and from what I understand, follows riverbed and goes up. I can't tell you the specifics of the names of any of the features or anything like that, but it's a tough race, and I think I want to say DJ has the course record for the men's side of things.
Probably.
DJ. That would be a fair claim most of the time.
Just on a Sunday long run.
But some pretty good results came out of there. The women's race got taken up by Hannah Fletcher, which was cool. She is a machine and seems like she is winning almost everything that she runs in, which is crazy. She also at 3 Peaks this year? I feel like she may have been first, if not second. Should probably know that.
No, Francis won the women's race.
I see. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
She may have been on podium, but I just do know Francis won.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Anyway, Hannah had a great run, and she's a machine, and she has won a lot of races. I know that over the last couple of years, and is actually engaged to a very good friend of mine, also named Andy. And then Zoe McClure was in second, and Harriet Carr in third. So that was pretty cool. But Hannah was good 20 minutes up, so she absolutely dominated that one. Well done, Hannah. Men's field a hell of a lot tighter, eh? Like for a trail race, a bit of a blanket finish. So Chester Holt Quick, again, that name has popped up quite a bit.
Yeah, I was going to say, I heard that name.
This is a rising. Yeah, this is cool. And I mean, this is what we hope to do with the show, right? Is just start showcasing some people that you might not have heard of. So The first place time was 2:43, and then back to third was 2:48, which is pretty cool. And I was super stoked to see Sam McCutcheon in second place, because Sam's been doing this for quite a while, and again, he has won many a race, including, I want to say, 3 if not 4 Kepler challenges. So yeah, very accomplished man. And rounding it off was Ryan Tate in third place. So some pretty solid results there. That's probably the only one we're going to report on. We're not going to go too deep on the results because,
there's also not much trail racing going on this time of year.
Yeah, the cool thing is we're coming through that winter window now, and over the next sort of couple of weeks, things are starting to heat up, and there are a few more events, which is cool.
I guess we're moving out some events we've got coming up as well. There are a couple races on this weekend. We'll start with the local ones first before we talk about the elephant in the room, which is the biggest trail racing in the world this weekend. Local stuff. Great Naseby Water Race. This is something I only heard of a couple of times, I guess, being a North Islander.
Yeah.
What we were talking about before. What is this thing? This seems nuts.
Well,
it's not a backyard ultra, but it's pretty close.
It's a water race. Is that obvious? No, it's basically a 10k loop. Goes through some forestry trails and sort of like a gravelly forestry figure 8, from what I understand. And I think the distances vary from the shortest event you can do, I think, might be a team's 60k, so do 30 each. And I think the shortest individual race is 50k, and I want to say it goes right up to 200k. It's quite well, I guess, segmented, and gives people a chance to, what I see in this race is a really cool opportunity for you to say, do your first 100k, or, for those people who are stepping up to go, I want to run my first 100 mile. It's super controlled, there's no need to carry compulsory gear, it's obviously very easy from a fueling and strategy standpoint. So yeah, quite well supported in that sense, and obviously even just the fact that your crew are going to see you a lot as well. So it is a cool race, and actually one of our crew, Ben, he's going to be down there running his first 50k this weekend. So shout out to Ben.
Sweet. Shout out Hayden Warren as well.
Oh yeah.
From the 650 crew around here. He's racing, or I'm going to say 100k. Could be 100 miler, but I'm pretty sure he's racing 100k.
Cool. Okay.
Won't be his first race that distance, but I think he's pretty keen to have a crack at something faster.
Yeah, and see, that's what it's good for. This is a cool one if you're starting to dial in some pacing strategies, and I see a lot of value in this. Truthfully, I actually looked quite closely at it, but it was just too close to Tekako. I feel like it was sort of one or the other.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. I think it kicks off on Wednesday for the longer races and stuff. That sounds great. And then the main races on the weekend. Also, a race I didn't know much about, Lake Dunstan Marathon as well.
Yeah, pretty new one. I want to say it might be the second year, and again we have someone from the crew running Ed. So Ed's actually the defending long course trail champion. So yeah, we've got some good trail runners in this crew, and we hope to talk more about them. But so he's having a crack. Again, this is a little bit out of his comfort zone, and that's kind of why we've chosen this as part of his build up. So yeah, it's obviously a very fast, basically just gravel,
cycle park kind of stuff.
Basically gravel cycle trail, hard packed. It'll be pretty quick for a trail marathon. So yeah, quite excited to see how this one goes.
Shoe choice on that one? Is it still a trail shoe, or is it a road shoe course?
I would wear a trail shoe, but it would be obviously a pretty tuned up.
So not a Queenstown Marathon cycle path kind of thing, more of a
Not quite. Yeah. Not quite. You probably could, I think if it was running dry, you can probably roll the dice, but I think from a couple of people I've talked to who have been down that way, it's actually pretty wet and muddy. So I think it's definitely trail shoe material this weekend.
So there's a couple of races coming up, and we'll bring you some results when we get back next. Next, talk about races coming up.
This is kind of a big one, right?
That's quite a big one. The thing that is absolutely clogging up my Spotify feed with interviews and pre-race predictions and this that. So we don't want to need to go too deep into it. But it is UTMB Ultra Trail Mont Blanc World Finals of all these distances. A lot going on. Kicking off next week in Chamonix.
No, this weekend. Yeah.
This weekend,
yeah. It's on, man.
True. Sorry, kicking off this week. And then, yeah, I guess we just want to kind of chat about a few of kind of like the notable races, a few Kiwis that we know that are doing it, and a few interesting storylines. But man, like go and check out some of the interviews if you really want to dive into it. You're saying the free trail stuff is really good.
Yeah, Free Trail Pod is awesome. Like they do a killer job of like giving you real up to date stuff with like, you know, because a few big names have sort of withdrawn, and you know they have obviously a super close ear to the ground with the full international scene, and we kind of just wanted to like, I guess like, I don't know, drop a couple of quick summaries, but also just highlight the Kiwis because, you know, far out. That's who we're rooting for, right?
Yeah, make some bold predictions and see if anyone come right.
Yeah,
I guess like in the full distance UTMB men's race, Vincent Douillard's doubling back after Western States. Last guy to double back and win was Kilian 2011, but I feel like we're in a bit of a different time then in terms of professionalism.
Yes.
The top 3 rank going into it, you got Caleb Olsen, who's previously won Western States before, Hans Namberger, and then Vincent's actually ranked 3rd, but yeah, I think it'd be pretty cool. You called out Zach Miller as your dark horse, just as a guy who's got some dog in him.
I just love the way he runs. Like, you know, maybe that's a silly thing to love because, you know, it doesn't always work out for him, but man, every now and again he does just hit one out of the park, and he just runs aggressively. And okay, it's 177k with 10,000 meters of vert. Maybe you shouldn't run aggressively, but like, yeah, he's just like one of those guys who kind of inspires me a little bit, and yeah, he's just, I don't know, he's just got that like mongrel in it with the way that he goes after it, especially at the end. Yeah.
I remember it was 2 years ago watching when Jim finally caught him at UTMB, and like how he'd just been out there by the front, like crushing it.
Yeah.
I guess other big name like Kilian pulled out, Jim pulled out, Tom Evans is out.
Tom Evans as well. So
3 guys who kind of had like notable DNFs at the last races and not being able to back it up.
Yeah, I mean the crazy thing is though, right? Like the field is still so incredibly deep because this is now dubbed like the UTMB finals. Like the index scores are mind blowing, and you know there's just so much talent there that we're probably going to forget someone. But I don't know. For me personally, if I'm putting my money on anyone, it's Vincent. I think like he has shown that he can run quick, and he has shown that he can run long and techy, and it's like, I don't know, what is UTMB, right? Like, yeah, so yeah, we'll see next show, we'll see where we're at with that. You got a pick? You got anyone you want to throw in there?
Oh yeah, I don't know, man. I think Caleb Olsen's one I want to watch.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd be stoked to see another one.
Focused his whole year on it. Like, I don't know. And then like,
what about Alex Albon?
Yeah, Alex Albon's back as well. He's raced well.
John Albon.
John.
Yeah, man, I'm getting intertwined with the F1 world right
now. I think Caleb Olsen interesting. Like he won Western, but is like more of a mountain athlete, so like in theory that should suit him better.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, who knows, man? Like it's always a bit of a lottery out there.
I did hear. No, carry on. I was just like segueing into the women's race here.
Go on, women's race.
This is the one obviously we're all excited about because
the Queen.
Yes. Dane, may as well be. She's amazing. So Ruth is going out there to not defend her title, we hear. She's just going out there to win it, which is cool. I love that. Yeah, I saw that. She gave an interview for Trail Running magazine, and that was kind of how she's framed it from a sports psychology standpoint, which is, it's just really cool. Like she's not going out there with the pressure of defending, she just wants to win the thing. So it's pretty cool.
You had an interesting take on that actually. We were actually talking about Ruth when we were out running the other day, and like the way that she races and the way that she's been successful when she's won this last year in Western States and stuff is like she often goes out like totally runs her own race, will be like 20-30 minutes down at halfway and then just motors through the field.
Yep.
And you had this interesting take. It was like, do you reckon that like other people now that she's like defending champ are going to be so scared of that she could almost like slow the entire race down because everyone's like, I'm not going to run away from Ruth because I know what's coming.
Yeah.
It could be a really interesting like race dynamic.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I think she might end up inevitably pulling some people through to better races than they would have had, and maybe they won't run their own race and they'll run Ruth's race. But then in saying that, Ruth is so talented that she's running at an easier effort than others, I would say. So I just can't wait. Like, I mean, there's some, obviously Courtney's in there as well. So yeah, it's going to be really cool, man. I'm absolutely all in on, like, yeah, we'll be cheering hard for Ruth on the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, there's heaps of other people as well to know, and the chances are we'll miss people that actually do well. I also want to call like Rachel Inchkin, who won Coca-Cola 250 overall. Obviously, like someone like that when they're on the start line, like just can't look the other way. But
she won't have any trouble running through the night, right? Like she knows how to run for a long time.
But Ruth will be interesting. I mean, Ruth always seems to like kind of go undercover, go dark for a couple of months before a race, and then just turns up and crushes it. So
I think what we've seen with Ruth too is if she's on the start line, she's ready to rock and roll. Like she's super sensible and has like it's really admirable actually. Like it would seem that she doesn't seem to like cave to, I don't know, sponsorship pressure, where like there's definitely been races where she's just kind of said, I'm not running, and I think that's awesome, where I think a lot of younger athletes sort of have these obligations that they've kind of got to meet. So yeah, I guess not trying to ramble here, but like I just feel like whenever you do see her on the line, she's ready to go.
Yeah, she's probably one of the best hit rates.
Oh yeah,
like out of anyone.
Yeah.
So cool. Moving down from 100 miles to 100k, CCC. Woman first. We'll get on to the favorite. Women's. I mean, like first ranking, also coming off the back of a Western win. Jen Lichter, I was like one to watch. I mean, everyone talks about like the, Western States straight into UTMB, like back-to-back double, but like CCC is probably the more similar race in terms of time on feet and stuff. So interesting to see Jen have a crack at that. Obviously, like she set the record, I believe, at Western States, and like now having a crack at CCC. I think that'll be pretty interesting to watch. I mean, there's heaps of other runners in that one, but I think she's probably the kind of key call out from that field. And then on to the Kiwis. You mean in the men's race? Oh, just Caitlin Fielder.
Yeah. Oh yes. Oh no, far out. Sorry, Caitlin. We love you, Caitlin, and you're gonna kill it.
Also doubling back from Western. But I think as well, like it's cool. Like this has been shown to be quite a good recipe over the years. Like I think Hayden Hawkes also won Western States and then went straight in and won CCC 1 year as well. So yeah, like it seems like a really good way to do things. It does seem like the more logical.
Yeah.
Double. I mean, maybe not like as grand and heroic a double to do, but like seems like the more sensible one.
Do you know how Caitlin's racing has been in the last couple of months, or
I haven't really seen much since she. Oh god, it was top 10 again in Western, but nothing crazy. But
nothing crazy.
Just top 10. I mean, when you set the expectation like she has. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Definitely like one we'll be watching.
Yeah.
The men's race, I guess, fan favorite there. DJ comes in ranked 5th. Caitlin also ranked 5th in rankings.
Gotcha.
DJ ranked 5th in CCC, but man, that's an absolutely stacked field in CCC.
Yeah, that's just going to be a race with a whole lot of firepower in it. So again, it's going to be really cool to see how it unfolds, and like you would have to expect that it's going to go out pretty hot. I can't wait. Like that's like a real highlight of the weekend for me. Like watching CCC. Yeah, big DJ fan.
Shorter race again, OCC down 50k. Got some interesting ones in here, Remy Bonnet is on the start list. Yeah. So stepping up in distance for him.
Yeah.
Probably the guy with the highest VO2 max the world's ever seen.
Yes. I'm probably leaning towards Francesco Puppi. I think he's come off Western as well, but like this guy has insane range. His winning races from like half marathon up to obviously second in his debut 100 mile at Western States, which is pretty crazy. So yeah, he's crazy talented. And actually I did hear a cool stat, maybe I did actually just poach this from Free Trail. The 50k, the OCC, the average score for the top 50 index was the highest, so like that's the deepest race.
So statistically deepest, most stacked field. That makes sense. And a Kiwi in as well.
Sam Rout,
I'm sure you're gonna miss some other Kiwis in here, but I do know Sam, so Sam Rout racing this, which would be cool to see.
And again, like he's had some really awesome racing, and he's been really consistent. So I'm pumped to see how he goes. Like just in a field of that quality, it'd be really good to see. So
I mean, he seems like a guy like who just like rises to races. Like he qualified for this last year at UTA Australia. We had a really good run, and I think
just outside the podium, right? Like, I think it was 4th overall,
something like that. Yeah, like really solid run, and like came from like just doing some domestic races here, based up in Frontrunner.
Yep.
Goes to a race in Aussie, like steps up. He's since had some good runs at like the shorter races at Tarawera, and really cool to see if he like rises to the occasion again in a race like this and kind of performs well in the most stacked race at UTMB weekend.
Yeah.
So best of luck.
Totally. Oh, yeah, we're rooting for you, Sam. And I think like, if we've missed people, guys, like you can flick Oscar a message. Probably. Do you want me? Shall I rattle off his phone number?
Yeah.
No, flick us a message. We're gonna have to set something up. We might have to set up an IG account or something. And yeah, you guys can help fact check us. You're raising your eyebrows at me.
Yeah, I just wanted to. My complaint is the UTMB website is an absolute prick to go for if you're trying to like find entrants and races.
Yeah.
Happily shows you the top 100 rankings in each field, but it's so rankings focused, it's almost impossible to search.
We were trying to sift through Kiwi only entrants. It was a lot harder than we thought it would be. So yeah, they need to do some work on that.
Yeah. OCC wanted to kind of round out the championship races. Again, there's so many good runners in this, but one that really like was a bit sad to me is like Molly Seidel had to pull out. I was really looking forward to seeing how she would go. So Molly Seidel, Olympic bronze medalist from Tokyo, coming over trail running. Has had some pretty good success at some of like the flatter, faster races, qualified for Western, had an absolute blow up at Western, ended up like walking it in like 24 hours or something, but like good on her for finishing it was pretty cool. And then was planning to race OCC, but just kind of like hasn't really bounced back. So no, I was kind of real keen to see how she went in a race like that, but I think watch that space
it'll come
with her.
I think this race again, I think there's huge expectation on, is it Tove Alexanderson?
Yeah.
So like she is just killing it, and seems like kind of untouchable. So like from the commentary I've heard so far, it's almost like who's going to get second if she doesn't have a really bad race. So we'll see how that one plays out.
Yeah, I think the shorter races are probably like slightly more predictable than the longer ones. They seem to have a little bit more kind of the storylines line up with the people that are ranked well, performing well. Yeah.
Oh man, it's going to be cool. It's going to be up on the TV for a good chunk of the weekend. I'm excited. I think like it's always just super motivating, and like I remember even like this time last year, just it's super inspiring coming out of winter and just seeing everyone killing it, and honestly, you just want to be over there doing it.
Like, have you ever ran over there, like on the route?
No, I haven't. No. Again, this is a big to-do. So, we just got to keep working towards these things, my friend.
I think that pretty much wraps up like the results side of things. Obviously, there is so much content around this at the moment. My Spotify is jam-packed with interviews to listen to and stuff. But no, I think real cool, and I'm sure we'll have some cool things to talk about.
Yeah, I think it'll be cool to circle back on this next time we catch up.
I guess, back to a little bit close to home. I know Andy's a coach. Andy coaches me. So I guess as part of this, we also wanted to have a chat about like the coaching side of it, and like how specifically we're training for trail running, and kind of like what that means. So we want to take some questions on this as well. So I think Oscar will set something up. Because I know they get a lot of coaching questions on the main show, and I think Andy can probably answer a lot of those, and then a lot of them are kind of specific to trail. We're going to have a few quick ones. I guess I'll ask the questions, and Andy, the expert, can answer. Right. But I guess the first thing, like just briefly talking about, like we're both doing a hell of a lot of road running at the moment, and that is just like part of this time of the year. But how do you like incorporate this road running into like preparing for trail races? I guess both at the racing level and then just also like a competing level as well.
Well, I think the simplest way to put it is like we still must work on the engine first, right? Like we've got the engine and the chassis, and we can build the engine anywhere. Like we do want things to be specific at times, and then obviously closer to races, super specific. But at the end of the day, we can get a lot more out of running in really controlled environments. So this is my belief and philosophy anyway. And then, I think a lot of people who have come from a only running trail background, this can actually be a bit of a chink in their armor, where they've tried to always do, say, like hard efforts or steady state efforts on trail, and they're quite compromised if they're in, like a or even if they're just running around Hagley Park and doing like a 45-minute tempo where all they have to do is turn left or right, like this is quite challenging for them, and there's a lot of value in that. So yeah, does that kind of answer the question a little bit? Is that where you're going with that one?
Yeah, I think as well. Like, it kind of leads on to like a question about like, you know, we've obviously seen the level of trail racing overseas and then I guess domestically as well, like increase so much in the last few years. And I think it is kind of like this, like we talked about, like, you know, people are training specifically on the road for these efforts as well, and like bringing faster running. And we like a note here about like Francesco Pupi, his big theory on training is just like trying to increase the ceiling. Yeah. So I think it is a really important thing to do, and it was just it's kind of interesting seeing.
It's like sorry to jump in, but it's like where can you make the most gain? And like I don't know if we use triathlon as a good example, right? Like were I to enter a triathlon right now, I would do almost no running, and I would just work really hard on my swimming because I'm a terrible swimmer. I would probably have very little to gain on the running bike, and so much to gain. And you know, I think it kind of fits into that a little bit where it's like if you can just get so much improvement by working on the engine before going to the technical skills, like the technical skills, like they will just develop through time on the trails and long runs. Like you don't necessarily need to be doing the technical skills in the workouts. Again, there are a few like examples where they do want to like cross reference, but yeah, I think you can get a lot from training hard on the road.
And you think about like periodizing that into the year as well.
Well, it's a lot more measurable, right? Like it's quite hard to interpret training that's done on terrain that a coach doesn't understand, especially if you are working with a coach that's like based in a different city and they actually don't know where you're training. Where like if it's conducted in like a reasonably flat area, or it doesn't even have to be flat actually, but you know what I mean, just not on trail. You can extrapolate a lot more from the data. Yeah.
I guess as well, like this time of year and training wise, the thing we're always dealing with is like the training while sick thing as well. I think we were just talking in the shop before, like didn't someone that came out and said like 10% of kids in Christchurch dropped school this week because of sickness. I think another big struggle this time of year and is training while sick. So like where do you kind of sit on that, and like how do we get the most out of these weeks when we are unwell?
I'm pretty staunch on it. I think like there are lots of different views on it, but you know, my views have probably just come from seeing this lots over the last like 5 to 10 years. And if I'm sick, I'm not training. If it's a cold, you know, like if it's above the neck, I might do like a really easy jog, but like this is still not training, right? And it might be tapped out at 45 minutes or 60 minutes if it's like super mild. But a lot of the time it's just a little bit of movement, and you know, like it's just making you feel a little bit better. But yeah, I think the neck rule is pretty good if it's below the neck, you know, if it's and gosh, if you're having like feverish symptoms, which some people honestly are right now, you know, like in the group and in the community, and you've just got to shut it down. Like that's really bad if that's a virus. Like, well, these are my beliefs anyway, and I'm quite staunch on it. I don't get upset about much as a coach, but I do get upset when people are pushing really hard whilst they're unwell, or they perhaps don't give you the full picture of how unwell they actually have been. And I mean, eventually it'll come, you know, around to bite them in the butt. So
you're like only really lying to yourself, and like how do you expect to like absorb training when you're just trying to like stop it? Yeah, like if you're not in a place to absorb training, there's no point in training, right?
Yeah, and like it's so hard for your body if it's trying to like shake a virus which can linger for 4 to 6 weeks, and then you're like pushing really hard, like you just interrupt so many processes. And actually there can be some really like scary flow-on effects too, right? Like people getting myocarditis and other, you know, conditions as such. So I reckon this is the key time to lean into your coach, right? Like when things are going real good, it's pretty easy. It's just like, here's the training, here's what I did, sweet, it's going well. But yeah, I think if you're, especially at this time of the year, like this is the time to be asking questions.
Yeah, no, it is. I got also like my next question is on a much lighter note as well. So there's a little bit of much lighter note.
I feel real on the spot with these. I got to get better at preparing for this.
No, this is more of a discussion. So I was actually listening to something the other day, and anyone who kind of like uses training software, obviously like so Garmin recently purchased TrainingPeaks. For those who don't know, TrainingPeaks is a software that's been around for 20 years now or something.
Long time. Yeah.
And it's a software that like most coaches and athletes are using. So when Garmin came out and announced that they purchased that, a lot of people like, wow, that's pretty crazy. Are they going to do something crazy like, oh, only your Garmin's going to upload to TrainingPeaks and whatnot? But I was listening to some other commentary about this, and I think it all comes back to AI, everyone's favorite topic of shit training programs. So if anyone's ever uploaded anything to Strava, you kind of know that it'll give you like this fun little bit of feedback, which is like,
it's very positive.
Congratulations, you ran steady, like you did awesome. And so Strava recently purchased their own training app called Runner, which punches out AI training programs, and like they're not very good.
Have you ever played with that? Dude,
I will not throw someone under the bus who I might live with who's played with it a few times. But what's really interesting here is that like I think a lot of what Garmin has purchased here is actually like a way to train an AI bot. And you actually had a really interesting thought about this. So basically now, like everyone's like, oh, so Garmin's now, because Garmin's got its own AI training programs, which again aren't that great. But if you try to train it on what TrainingPeaks has, as in 20 years of data from every coach in the world and every athlete in the world, maybe it could get a lot better. But you had a really interesting take on this from the run the other day. We're like, well, isn't that just what people have done when they read books?
Yeah, like that's exactly it, right? Like we're all just fine-tuning based off what's been done in the past and then figuring out how to apply it to people. And I think this is the challenge that like artificial intelligence is going to have, is like the actual applying it to people part of the equation, right? Like maybe it is coming up with an okay formula, but it's like, I don't know, at the moment it's not asking enough questions about applying it to you. But yeah, I think I don't know, I'm not feeling super threatened by AI at the moment, and I think it's a wicked tool actually to like, again, like if you're into your data and throwing it into spreadsheets, you know, it can actually help, you know, perhaps identify blind spots, but it's got a long way to go, right?
Yeah, I think it's a long way before AI works out whether you've got a snotty nose or not. But yeah, no, it's an interesting space. Like, I don't know, I'm not too scared of mine. Well, I just hope my nice little comments get a little bit better when they come through, because at the moment they just tell me I did a good job no matter how bad I felt.
But everyone must be like, whoa, you just did your longest run in the last 6 months. Go you. Way to go.
I guess not chat on coaching, man. We talk about this too much. My other favorite topic, yours as well, gear chat.
Yes.
So the question of the day here, which we'll try to incorporate each week, is Andy's search for the best running belt out there, because they all seem to be a bit of shit.
I need to know people, man. Like I love the idea of running with a belt on my waist, something that is capable of carrying, you know, the compulsory gear. Perhaps not all of it, because I know that's a bit of a push, but I'm talking like at least a seam sealed jacket, some gloves. It would be cool if it could fit a soft flask in it or some kind of nutrition. But yeah, I have played around with quite a few, and I'm yet to find anything that like I'm happy with or that's good enough. I don't want to like throw brands out there under the bus, but it's a little bit of a white whale for me at the moment. You've been playing around with anything?
Yeah, I think we were probably both inspired. It was Terraware this year, wasn't it? Where DJ launched the sausage.
The sausage.
The
sausage was awesome.
At Terraware 100k this year, Dan Jones turned up with a running belt on, no vest. Terraware's got quite a lot of compulsory gear, and basically what he'd done is rolled up all his compulsory gear into like a tube that would look like it was wrapped in like a plastic bag. It looked like a poster tube, but it was like wrapped in a plastic bag.
Yeah.
And had that like in the back of his belt, and I think for both of us that kind of set off the what can be found in running belts.
I'm sure you were sending me photos of your replications at home, actually.
Yeah. I did try to replicate it.
Tell the people the real truth.
Yeah, and it does really work, but I think it just opened up a question for me, as in what are the better ways to carry our gear with trail running? Because I feel like most people doing road running, and there are plenty of belt options out there, but not really working to carry that much gear. And I think I've come to the conclusion that we just should start wearing crop tops, because I don't know who was watching.
Lead from the front on this side?
Well, no, I'm already following Kilian. So if anyone watched Western States this year, Kilian Jornet turned up in what can only be described as a crop top. And it was amazing.
The confidence of that, man.
Yeah, it was. It really made me rethink how vests work. I mean, you're trying to find the ultimate option with a belt, but I was looking at this prototype crop top thing that Kilian turned up with, and basically it was really fitted like a woman's marathon racing crop top. But it had two pockets for flask on the front, but really close together. And that got me thinking about alright, when you're running, there's a lot of trunk rotation. Doesn't it totally make sense to bring that extra kilo, 2 500-gram flasks, closer to the center line, and have them in front of you, and then having it actually fit tight around your body where you can put gels in and things like that. I'm man, I think we've got a lot of way to go here.
Okay, man. I'm gonna find something, and if I find it, you have to wear it.
But no, I don't know. Just I don't know. I played around with belts and stuff as well, and just really struggled. I think particularly a lot of the races we do here in New Zealand as well. Obviously you get to race UTMB, and the compulsory gear is pretty big. It's spare batteries, multiple waterproof jackets, waterproof pants. Kilian turned up a few years ago with ones for children, and now you actually have to wear ones for adults. I think there's a story about him turning up with a rain jacket for a teddy bear or something one year as well.
Yeah, it fits the rules.
Yeah, but that stuff obviously a little bit different. But for a lot of these races in New Zealand, they're kind of finding better storage things.
I mean, this is just it though, because you've kind of got two trains of thought. You've either got, am I packing, and if I have to access it, my day's gone really shit, as in I'm sitting on the side of the trail and now I'll put it all on, or do I have some kind of system that I can actually operate out of? And that's what you ultimately want, right? Because you want to be able to just do things without stopping. That, it's just going to stop you wasting so much time. It's a big thing, and it's a big part of the trail running side of things. So I love seeing people's setups. Honestly, this is one of my favorite things about race day. I love just looking around at what people have got with their setups, and it can even give you heaps of confidence. You're oh man, that guy's kit looks so heavy. That's going to be totally terrible, and I'm stoked with what I'm wearing right now.
So I guess any tips on running belts? Shoot them Andy's way, and
belts.
I think this will be
crop tops.
He's not keen on the crop top.
Not keen.
But Google what Kilian wore at Western States and let me know what you think. And there's just got to be some better answers here. So I guess this will be something we both play around with over the next few months as we get into racing.
Yeah, for sure.
And will be a bit of fun.
Cool.
Other gear related things, you've got some new shoes to run this week?
Yeah, I've got some new shoes from mountain to coast to check out. Are they the M1s or the H1s? They are the M1s. They are the M and or H1s. And it doesn't matter what they are. I'm going to talk a little bit more about those next time we catch up, because I haven't worn them yet. Have just arrived, so I want to make sure I put them through an honest few off-track missions before I tell you about what I thought. But I guess just as a general overview, they're kind of fitting into the ultra race shoe category, so more into what I'm going to wear on race day or fast sessions versus the daily trail trainer. So quite excited about seeing how they go.
Yeah, sweet. I think we'll be picking Andy's brain a bit more on gear chat over the next few hours. Kind of starts to get closer to race day, trying out a few new products.
Gear's fun
as well.
Yeah, gear's fun. There's always other things to try, which is cool. Sweet man, I reckon we've covered quite a bit of ground there. I don't know if anyone out there is listening but my mum, and she's pretty busy, so I don't even know if she's listening. So we probably should look at wrapping this thing up. Before we do, got any cool stuff happening in the next couple of weeks? Like any cool missions? Anything that you're just excited about before we kind of call it there?
I think for me, like the next step in training is doing something that's more than just jogging.
Yep.
That'll
Cool.
probably be the next big milestone for me.
No bike missions or anything like that?
Oh, weekly out riding bikes in the Port Hills, but nothing crazy coming up. But yeah, no, I think for me it's just progressing training and kind of feeling like I'm making some progress.
Sweet. Yeah, you are, man. That's cool. Nice.
Don't know how we sign it off. Was Oscar say eat your veggies? I reckon just
Whatever he says.
cut.
Go run some trails. Go get off track. That's what I reckon.
Yeah. Get some carbs in you.
Hopefully, guys, we will be back for episode 1/2. Because what is this? Episode 0/1.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. We'll cut it there. Cheers, team.
Thank
See
you.
you later.